And, if you don't mind, there's a very special person celebrating his birthday today. And so, birthday dedication, shout out, well wishes to Mr. Christopher Ohinisija. You're celebrating 80 years on earth today. We thank God for your life and wish you more years in health and, of course, in happiness. This one is from Jim Agla, General Manager, and from his family as well. So one more time to you, Mr. Christopher Ohinisija. Happy 80th birthday to you. All right, so it's now time for us to delve into our main conversation this morning. And we want to continue our series of engagement with the parliamentary aspirants who want to contest on the ticket of the NPP come the 2024 elections. Now, today, we want to talk about the Subin constituency, and so we will be engaging with Frank Duodu, who wants to unseat Eugene Boakye Antwi in the Subin constituency. Now, as you listen to us this morning, I've been asking all morning, do you think that Subin needs a new face when it comes to the parliamentary seat? Or you think that the old face in Eugene Boakye Antwi should still be the person to represent Subin in Parliament come 2025? Your thoughts, your views, your questions, your comments are very much welcome to our WhatsApp number 055-1111-995. Now, earlier I was saying that we were live on Facebook on Love in the Morning. We're having some challenges with that one, so please use the Love 99.5 FM. Join us on Facebook on Love 99.5 FM with your thoughts as well. And there's this billboard. I have never seen the size of such a billboard in my life when it comes to political campaigning before. Join us on Facebook and see the billboard I'm talking about. So up until his appointment as Regional NADMO Director in April 2022, Mr. Duodu was the Metropolitan NADMO Director at the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, that is KMA, and he was there since 2018. Now, Mr. Duodu, who is 48 years, is an associate member of the Institute of Professional Financial Manager, UK. He has a wide experience in research and leadership. He holds a Master of Science in Marketing and E-Commerce from the Luleå University of Technology in Sweden. That was between 2009 and 2011. Having obtained his bachelor's in Business Administration accounting option from the Crescent Service University College in Kumasi. That was between the years 2005 to 2008. Now, Mr. Duodu studied General Arts at Prempeh College. That's so he's an Amanfoɔ here in Kumasi in 1996 before pursuing Diploma in Business Studies, DBS accounting option. And he's with me in the studios of Love 99.5. Now, the Subin constituency parliamentary seat will be keenly contested not only by him, but by three other aspirants. Now, the incumbent member of Parliament, Honorable Eugene Boakye Antwi, is still going to be on the ballot. The other contestants are lawyer Obri Yeboah, Dr. Papa Akwesi Frimpong alias Dr. Subin, and of course, like I mentioned, Frank Duodu, the Regional Director of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, who is with me in the studios of Love 99.5. Now, since 1997, the Subin parliamentary seat has been occupied by the New Patriotic Party, first by lawyer Samson K. Boafo, 1997 to 2000, then Ambassador Isaac Osei, 2009 to 2016, and then Eugene Boakye Antwi from 2017 till date. Frank, good morning, and thanks very much for your time with us in the studios of Love 99.5.
Good morning, Dave, and good morning, Jim.
It's a new year, so I can say Happy New Year. Sure, to you.
Sure. I think I'm better.
Now, before we delve into why you want to become an MP, and let me use a word, so badly, and I'll tell you why I'm using the word badly, in a bit. You are still the boss for NADMO in the region. How will you describe your works, your operations in 2023? How was 2023 like for NADMO in Ashanti?
Good morning once again. Good morning to your listeners. More especially, decision makers, the kings and queens of Subin constituency. I salute them. Dave, taking a retrospect to 2023, NADMO across the region had been very good. Over time, with years comparatively with the previous years, you realize much more of the witness that we've been seeing. Almost any time there are heavy downpour, we witness people, floods over, then loss of properties, then life being lost here and there. But you realize that the focus of my administration is on the preventive measures. That is key because that is the core mandate of NADMO. We wouldn't want to wait for things to happen before we get into the scene to act. NADMO previously is being seen as when it does happen, that is where you come in to do the remedy. But that is not the mandate. The mandate is to look at the preventive measures that you can put in place so that those happenings, even if it does occur, it will be minimal. That was the focus for last year. So prior to the year, we did some education. We put up some things down, the measures. We engaged the metro municipal assemblies and the districts for them to also play their part, making sure that the key things that cause much that is being looked at is the flood. So we liaised with the Regional Coordinating Council led by the Regional Security Council Chair, the Regional Minister, who have been very helpful. His work is, unless you don't put on the table, he's an action man. He helped us, and we were able to make sure major drains and places that we see that cause most of these floodings, we will tackle them. Myself, together with some of the assemblies, they undertake the work. We have to go back to do the inspection when it's not done properly. There were 3 meetings that they even arranged for me to engage the district chief executive in the metropolitan heads and to some extent their presiding members for them to understand why those measures were being put in place and the need for them to act.
Okay.
So, in a nutshell, we were able to reduce some of the incidents that
I like it when you talk about the preventive bit, because prevention, like the saying goes, is always better than cure.
Sure.
But unfortunately, we still recorded some fires, the KGTM market fires and others. So 2024 is here. What's the plan? What do you have, tailored such that would have less, disasters to deal with?
Jax earlier mentioned the focus is still down there on the preventive side. There are educations that we've started, which we did from December. Our action plan is such that the preceding year, people look at it that rains, you see the weather pattern has changed. So people expect that, the rains are coming so much, there wouldn't be fire. So we started with the education of fire from the month of November. You realize that even at that time, the rains have not come down, but still looking at how the weather is and with the other agencies' assistance, we could predict to know that this is how it's going to go. There were much of education down there at the communities, the marketplaces, on radios, which you realize I issue most of them press and engage the press so that we educate the people to that. It's rather unfortunate that of KJTR. Most of these fires that we've witnessed within a short while, they could have been avoided. They are all man-made. It's our own doing. For some, you look at it, further investigation has been undertaken, you look at it and you think, then you ask yourself, is it normal? What was the person thinking of? And we continue with that. And in this year, as I said, from last year, December that we've started, the education is ongoing. People are down there. And that is the action that we are going to take to make sure.
We'll make time and invite you to tell us much more as to what the plans really are in depth, so we get to understand them. Because I'm happy when you say that most of the fires could have been prevented. Because people are not supposed to be cooking in our markets.
Not at all.
Not at all. There.
Not at all.
What is being done to ensure that people who have gas stoves in there do not use it? People who have irons are using them properly and put them off when they need be and all that. So we'll find time and talk about that.
Sure.
But this morning, our invitation to you is for you to tell us about why you so badly want to be MP for Subin. And Joel, if you don't mind, show that video of the billboard on Facebook for me. Before I even talk about it, I want listeners to go onto Facebook. It is on Love 99.5 FM and see that billboard I'm talking about. All right? That billboard is just to tell people that, well, I am ready, vying for MPship in Subin. He's an aspirant right now. He wants the delegates to vote for him, so he will represent the people of Subin in Parliament come 2025.
Sure.
Why do you want to be MP for Subin?
Thank you very much, Jeff. On this very billboard issue, it's funny.
We'll get there. We'll get there. I want my viewers to go and watch the billboard first. We'll talk about the billboard. So let's have a conversation.
David, over the years, Frank, I've been within the system. I've seen the happenings, then things that goes on. Yesteryears, you will see that the constituency used not to be what we are witnessing today. There are a lot of things that I've identified that I've gotten to know that is getting out of hand, and there is the need to also help. As a politician and from where I sit, I foresee much more things could be done better, considering the constituency where it is and the activities that goes on within. Over the years, from 1996, SK Buafo will tell you, Duodu has been a forefront from my youthful days, fighting and making sure that we get the seats from 96. Same with SK Buafo. From the local level to the national level, I've involved myself in politics throughout my youthful times. In coming to this level, the need for Duodu to take the mandate of the seat, it's as somebody born, raised from there, I've identified that a lot of things are going bad. Okay. One, talk of education. From St. Peter's down there, Presby Boys, Assam and all that, these schools were schools that they are government schools, but you could see that people were patronizing. They were schools that you could not just count them out. You go to St. Peter's and Presby Boys, people are proud of it. Can we talk of that of today? I see that education has gone down within the constituency, and there is much more that could be done. An effort needs to be put in there so that the very people who come in to trade will have their wards not taking them to private schools, but rather will be bringing them in. Attention needs to be looked at or taken care at that section. Talk of health. At KJTIA, a good friend of mine gave you some information, so I could tell you something. In our early days at KJTIA, before being to the children's hospital up there, and you look at way back over 25 years, 30 years that we are talking of that place, the only change that I foresee there is a project which the assembly had wanted to put up. And it got to a point, is at a halt. There hasn't been any massive change, innovations, or assistance that needs to be pushed in there to lift that children's hospital. We say Konfanoche is within Subin, yes. Thanks to Otumfo, the king, with the marvelous work that he has started there to make sure that Konfanoche is being renovated and bring it up so that we don't lose it. But it's a teaching hospital. Most people come from all walks of life with bigger cases and huge challenges. And whilst we are training health people as well, apart from Konfanoche and that of the children's hospital, what can we talk of? So there is the need for us to lift that children's hospital to a level that will take care more of our health needs. It wouldn't be like Konfanoche is assuming. So that is all. Another area that I foresee, it's Subin is the center of Kumasi. That is everywhere people moved in and come up now. The business community, there are a big challenge that is within the business community. The business community that we find ourselves in, from where I sit and the experience, what I've realized is there is the need for REX to address their issues. There are these issues that they always do complain on tax area, on that of clearing of goods, and from the port to Kumasi, among many others. These are some things that needs to be looked at that area, because so long as this business community are there, then they are able to revive. That is where we could also get in and make sure that they will be able to serve the gap of these employment opportunities. But if we are not looking at their challenges and helping them to address, what is going to be is they will lay off people, their business will die off, and at the end of the day, what happens? Okay, there will be increase in unemployment.
So you've touched on a few things, and I would like for us to take them one after the other. But before even I delve into all that, I'd like to, once again tell our listeners that we're engaging with Frank Duodu, who is an aspirant for the Subin constituency. He wants to unseat, the current MP, that is Eugene Boakye Antwi. Now, for those of you who are listening to us, what do you make of his intentions? Now, do you think that Subin needs a new face, or you think that Eugene Boakye Antwi should still be the person representing Subin in Parliament in 2025? But he's here right now. He's mentioned a few things. Now, you talk about public schools in that constituency not living up to expectation, and therefore you want to do something to change that narrative. Now, it's not just about Subin. You would agree with me that most of the public schools in Ghana are not doing very well, and that many would want their kids to go to private schools. What exactly do you want to do to bring a facelift to public schools in that constituency called Subin that would make the traders and other people feel comfortable enough to ensure that they enroll their kids in those public schools? What do you really intend to do?
Oh, thank you very much, Dave. With what I've observed down there, there is the need to motivate teachers within these public schools. Then also we look at the area of security. You go to all these schools, then you realize that there are businesses in here, activities going on there. So even the environment, there have been changes that it's not conducive for learning. There is the need for REX to make sure that if it's about fencing, if it's about making sure that the education activities, it's the only thing that goes on in these schools, it needs to be looked at. Look at ASIM. You go to ASIM, then you realize that it's almost a business community. We have cars offloading here, we have this activity going on there. And do you expect a parent to take a word of it to that school? Where will the person get that sound to?
Is that to say that you're going to ensure that cars don't ply their trade there anymore?
The need, if there is the need for us to wall the school, very necessary. Make sure that yes. That is one side of the security that needs to be looked at so that they will get that attention. Then also motivate these teachers. Have an extra classics, put in more. What is a common fund that you've been holding youth for? Can't you motivate these teachers? Can't you focus down there and make sure?
But in a situation where textbooks are not even made available for teachers to teach students with all the motivation in place, if they don't have the tools, requisite tools for them to teach, how would they be able to go about it?
I believe there are some, but the need for additional textbooks to be added is an area that is also going to be looked at. And if we are able to make sure that the teaching materials that they need, we are going to make sure we support down there and make sure that the school itself that is there, you go down there, then you see that most of them it's way off. We've been having Amekom homecoming, and we've been pushing. I am the engineer behind Amekom homecoming. Then always I have my family, the friends, my nephews down there who champion the cause of it. Behind there doing the architectural work. You go to Amekom division, you will realize that one of the schools has been face lifted from an angle. You look at how the state at which it was very bad. With the help of one contractor, we went to him, we spoke with him together with Amekom. It's something that has been looked at.
Was it something that you engineered?
Myself, then with a committee, we put before the contractor, then we brought him on board. And yes, we are good to go now. You go down there, it's something that you will see for yourself.
You also mentioned the Children's Hospital and that your vision is for you to have a facelift.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned the beautiful project that Opimso has initiated, the $10 million to develop Komfanoche. Now, it tells you that whatever you think you want to do, whether renovation, facelift, it comes with money. What's the plan for the Children's Hospital? What do you really want to do with it? And where's the funding going to come from?
Dave, leadership is very important. From where I sit with that experience, the very business community down there, anyone who does a good work, it depends on what you want to put on board. Sourcing fund from down there, engaging business communities and the various institutions that we find within the constituency, with a good cause of such, I know we will get the support. And also looking outside and make sure that the needed materials or things that they are going to use at the hospital are things that will be easily done.
Now, you talk about engaging with the business community. You and I know that times are really hard.
Sure.
How sure are you that you can engage with the business community well enough for them to be able to support this work? Because if you should get them not to lead to being...
Dave, it will interest you from the angle that I sit. There are some things that I initiate them do, and it will surprise you. You go to the Metropolitan Assembly, you realize that about 3 years ago, the fire engine there works down. I went straight to the chief executive. I went to the coordinating director, then the finance. Then I told them, this is the decision that I've taken and the steps that I would want to take. Because I work with these people. And always when there is an emergency, I have to run in there with them. And an engine down, there is nothing we could do. I sat down myself, put a document together. Then I went into the field. Then I raised fund to make sure that the fire engine is back to work.
Did you buy a new one or you repaired the old one?
We fixed the engine back. It's something that I started personally. I went into the field to source for the fund. And it's this same business community. Look, Dave, the very people that they are trading in there, if they don't have that peace and the security in place, how do they go by in doing their work? If the very community that you come to trade in, at the end of the day, you are not supporting or giving back to that community to make sure that things being done gets back to your own benefits and the very people who comes in, how do you then go by with your activity?
So that fire tender is working now?
The fire tender, it's working and it's on course.
No, is it working? Is it
it's working? It's working. Now. It's working. You could check from the metro and even the regional director.
You also mentioned that we all know that when it comes to Subing, it's in the center of Kumasi.
Sure.
A lot of trading activities goes on in that area. That's why it's called the CBD. You mentioned something about, traders having issues with taxation, clearing of goods. What is it with taxation that the traders are concerned with, or clearing of goods that they have issues with?
Dave, the challenge had been the clearing of goods from the ports, on the way how SEPs and the Internal Revenue also intercepted their goods for re-examination among others. There is the need for the traders. We engage them, then let them understand the processes that is involved in clearing. And apart from the processes that involve, they should be able to know that on fair grounds, whatever that is being meted to those in the other regions like Greater Accra and Rex is the same that they are gaining. Take it. You are in Accra. You clear the same container right from the port. You are able to offload into your warehouse. It's the same container that have also gone through the same process from the port. And me bringing it to Kumasi alone, on the way you could have about 3 checkpoints that people do. But you get close to Kumasi, then people come in. Then at the end of the day, let's go by that. There are some, even their goods are being delayed unnecessarily. Then it gets back, then they tell you we are done, and the thing is okay. In some cases, you find some mistakes and errors which goes between the clearing agent and that of them. These are many more that needs to be looked at and addressed. And where the challenge is that they are not treated fairly, it needs to be addressed and make sure that their business goes on smoothly.
If they are not being treated fairly,
yes.
If impediments are being put in their way, let's say by the customs,
sure, it needs to be addressed.
You fix that problem.
It needs to be looked at.
What about the taxation bit that they also have issues with?
The taxation, I am not sure they have much problem with their taxation.
You mentioned taxation.
Yes, the reason why I mentioned taxation is the same goods that at the end of the day I have cleared and you also have cleared with the same rate. Why is it that on my way from Accra to Kumasi, I'm being intercepted, then being looked at and examined, then the one being in Accra, it's left out of the hook? Let's look at it in this way. If we give out much education for them to understand how the processes goes and how the goods are being cleared, where we have these green, red, and yellow angles from the SEPs point that they do clear, you've done that, you've given somebody the room to go off, and the other being that they will understand that they need to work well with their clearing agents and make sure that the right tax is being paid there, so that it wouldn't be at the end of the day that one chase them, then where the error is, they'll be made to pay more. And at the end of the day, even in most cases, I personally, 3 occasions, one, my former business partner, cleared ties. He has done everything fairly, everything being paid, well put together. The people were demanding 40,000 before to release it. The people were demanding.
So report the people if that is
if
not appropriate. Report them to appropriate quarters.
Some of these things we from the security point we work down there. I'll tell you, it's one area that the Security Council have taken it up, and we've engaged various institutions. We've written to all the angles. But in looking at it, there is the need for us to address that so that they will have that room to trade and have their pace. One side of it is on security. You look at the Central Business District, one might think we have the Ghana Police headquarters seated there, and so that is all. But you see, come to Kumasi at the end of the day, even in the daytime, there are a lot of things that goes on.
I'm happy you talked about security, because a colleague of mine, he works on Inshira, traveled, came to town, was in the Subing constituency. Around 5 a.m., he was robbed of everything he had on him. His mobile phone,
wow,
his cash, and some personal items were taken away from him by young guys who were holding machetes. I'm told that an area around where Opimso's statue is, around the roundabout, you cannot use that enclave around 4 to 5:30.
Which is bad, but shouldn't be the case.
Even around Edum proper itself, around the police station, there are a lot of criminal activities that go on in there. So when you touch on security, I'm happy to hear about security. What's your plan for security? Because again, even when you look at this children's park that has been abandoned since 2005, it's been turned into a den of criminal activities where people have also lost their lives. I would want you to, having addressed the issue of security for all these areas in that constituency, to also tell us what your plans are about the children's park. It used to be a beautiful park, I'm told. I was not here at the time. But I'm told that it had this beautiful library, it had this greenery. It was a playing ground for kids to go have fun. There was a stream that, water flows in. In fact, I was watching a feature that Nanaya Jima did exactly a year ago today. It's on Facebook, it's on my job online, where he did a story and then assurances were being given that something will be done about it. But before you tell us about, what your plans are, if there are any, for the children's park, let's talk about security in that constituency. It is terrible, I'm told.
It's very important that we look at security. That was the area that I was going. As part of it, it needs to be looked at. In Kejetia and the Central Business District is very key. What we have realized, or I have noticed, is there are a lot of people in now there to talk of these night workers. That has been increased. And you know what we are witnessing now? People from Nigeria, Burkina, and all else, they come in there. Just about some months ago, it's been something that has been with me, with Edum Nkosoko, and 3 key things that we've been championing, which myself have been leading, is on cleaning, security, then education. The cleaning aspect has been something that over the past 8 months, we've been consistent with. Talk of security.
So you're saying
these are some of
before
those.
you talk about security, so you're saying that sanitation-wise, that constituency is cleaner now than before, especially in Edum?
No, it's not cleaner than it used to be. We are putting more measures in and making sure that on daily basis, even in the afternoon, we will get guns, which they will be able to go through the drains, then get them off. Most of these flooding activities that goes on within the Central Business District is the activities of the traders that they undertake daily. Someone leaves a boss, then throw it somewhere. As soon as the rain starts, it gets there, it gets choked, then it floods. Though the drains are small, which in the foreseeable future, there is the need for us to re-engineer the drains. But if measures are being taken and make sure that the city is clean, at the end of the day, we wouldn't have this challenge. No matter the amount of rains that comes, once they are able to have their way through the drains, it will go down. But when it's happening, then you are able to take off these things that have blocked the drains. You realize that it's flowing, it's going. So my question is, what are the causes? The causes are these very things that we throw them out anyhow. So if you have guns...
So how are you tackling that? Because
if
the
guns,
traders are the ones that are littering and messing or causing the mess, how are you going to tackle it? Because when you talk of people that you call them gangs, I don't know what you mean by gangs though, but
thank you.
If you say you have people whose job or responsibility it will be for them to clean, how often would they be doing that? Because I remember during my Sokofi Jume's time, there was the night cleaning or sweeping that was taking place, and yet we didn't see much in terms of cleanliness in the CBD. So what exactly are you going to do in terms of sanitation?
Thank you.
You've realized the challenge. How do you fix the challenge?
Still on that, they've been doing the night cleaning, but in the daytime they leave out. That is where the gangs come in. The gangs that I'm referring to as people which they will be dealing much on the drains. It's a documented thing that is there that needs to be enforced. And if you are leaving out for the very community to get involved, bringing these business community for them to understand how these things could be addressed and them contributing and coming together, the gangs will be the very people in a small thing that they will be giving them. In the afternoon, we will have these gangs going around twice or 2 times a day to make sure that those being thrown out are being put together at the right place for the city authorities to also lift them. These are simple things that could be addressed. But if we sit, then it's going to be a night cleaning. We are done. You see, you clean over by 11 p.m. you see that it's a very clean city. But in the morning, by 6, because people start their activities from 4 a.m., they offload these goods and all that. By midday, 11, the city is flooded with filth. And the moment rain comes, what will be the challenge? But if you have these guns, which the cleaning and the major things being done, the authorities are being done, they come by twice a day and make sure that they clean behind them, we wouldn't have such of these challenges.
So you have some plans for sanitation in there. Let's talk about the security bit.
On the security area, so let's leave out to the community. Those people also engaging or doing the activities down there, we need to engage them. We go beyond what the police is also doing. Once we have these patrols in all, there is the need, these human traffic also being looked at by the city guard, there is the need for they themselves to get involved and make sure that we assist, aside assisting the security agents, we have these volunteer groups and system being put up and formed. You are talking of a central business and you think that is all. If there are night activities within the central business district and these volunteers, which the very community, with the support of the business community, they are engaged and make sure that they assist the police personnel, I think we will be able to calm down this. Do you know, myself sitting here, I was a volunteer at KGTIA. You go down there, ask Nana Prempe and Co., ask Osesibe and Co., the very old KGTIA, where we used to have police posts. Myself, with the other people that we were training, that our parents were there, I was their secretary. KGTIA volunteers, I was their secretary. And Kofi Wachi will tell you, we will be able to even arrest a thief. And I'll let you yourself, I'll be leading you to the police station. I put a statement, then we leave it out. These were some of those things that we were assisting. And if we are able to put down with these strategies, engage the business communities, then the residents that are in, I think we will be able to mitigate some of these challenges.
So for you, for security, you think that the constituency needs volunteers?
Not only the volunteers, we need to also assist the police personnel, the needed area, so that they will also augment that of the activity of the volunteers and make sure that we will have a peaceful community.
When you say the police, what are your expectations of the police when it comes to making sure people are safe, even when it's 5 a.m. they want to get to the market or they want to get to a bus station and travel to a destination?
We have these police patrol that they go on with the activities daily. We make sure that we engage. We have the central police in there. We have the divisional of that Zongo also in there. There is the need that they assist us and make sure that at advantageous places we have these police people who will help them mind 24/7. There is the need for X. It's a central business area that we are talking of. And if this is to go on, there is the need. Dave, from where you sit, me and you know that most of these activities, you put a police officer there. If you don't realize, by the time you think, then you come back. At the end of the day, the officer wouldn't be. But if we will have some little motivation also behind, engage these business community for them to understand the security which is paramount down there. And there are night activities that is going on there and they are being patrolled. Hey, you yourself standing somewhere to make sure you attack somebody, would he tell you from that?
I'm happy that you talk about night activities because in that area, you realize that night activity is virtually dead. Not too long ago, some years ago, it was bubbling with a lot of activities in the evening, but unfortunately now it is not so. Time is really running fast. I want to touch on 3 things. Yeah. But what, do you have any plan for the children's park? It's been abandoned since 2005. A lot of promises have been made as to what will be done to it. It has not seen the light of day, and it's now become a den for criminals. People, the assemblyman there in that report that I watched last night, put together by Nane Ajima, the assemblyman there was lamenting about people who have lost their lives and all that.
Sure, it's true. It's true. Children's park, with all that you were giving, that is where we used to play. That is where we go down there. There was a library there, a nice place that you could leave your child there, go attend to your business activity, then come and pick him. And it was a safe place. But you can't talk of it today. Myself, I've gone down there, the former assemblyman and the current, they continue to appeal. We go there, we assist them with weeding and all that.
So bottom line, what are we doing to the children's park?
It's possible much could be done there. Currently, the history of the area is in the hands of the king, and there are steps that has been taken earlier. About 11, 12 years ago, I was among the people that we brought people in, that we would want to engineer the place and make sure that we bring it to life. And the proposal that came on board, there was these Germans that came in, then Americans that came in. They went, they did not come back. I foresee that given the nod and from the angle that I sit, knowing much of what is expected and what the king would also wants to push in or bring on board, we just looked in to make sure that we revitalize the place, engineer and make sure that what has been put on paper come to reality. To talk of what? I'm talking of bringing investors in and making sure liaising with Menchia and making sure that the place will be back to life. It's something that is possible that could be done.
Is it part of a plan?
Yes, sure. It's part of my plan.
Again, when you look at the Subing constituency, permit me to say a lot of areas are choked with either human activity or vehicular activity. I mean, when you go to Idum, last year, for example, there was a ban on the Praguers from getting to the CBD. Well, people have taken over the shoulders of pavements and are selling. So pedestrians cannot walk on the pavements. They have to, contest with movement on the streets with vehicles. If you come to the Asafo area, for example, where the VIP is, it's annoying using that stretch because the VIPs and the STCs would want to make U-turns and turn and go park so they can carry passengers to wherever destination. So there's always traffic there. Do you have any, if you should get the nod from your delegates, do you have any plan for that area in terms of the congestion and all?
This very thing is something that needs to be looked at from all angles. You see, because of the nature of KGTR currently, which you need not to use to serve the old purpose, and now the central market activity that is going on, I'm sure if the market is back to its toes, people will be shipped in line to make sure that they are off from these pedestrians' walkway.
Is that possible?
Yes, Edum and the central business need not. It wasn't like that at all. There are some areas even at Edum that we used not to hawk at there. You go, then there were signs to tell you that this place, since we don't hawk or we don't move around there, then you'll be shouting and all that. I think if we are looking at the market and making sure that the market serves its purposes and we are able to expand from what is being engineered now, the phase 2 and 3 being addressed, some of these things could come down.
You think that if you should get the nod and become MP for Subing, you would have the testicular fortitude, like somebody will use that phrase, and say you're not going to allow people trade on pavements where they will tell you that, oh, you think you can do that?
At the end of the day, when you address their concern, making sure that the phase 2 and 3 is being put in place, they don't have any cause to complain. They will have to get back into the market.
They tell people don't come to buy from them in the markets.
No, you see, it's about enforcement, and the city authority needs to help. As a member of the assembly giving the nod, I don't see why we shouldn't be able to make sure, talk of when my uncle Kwesi Agyemang was undertaking this condition and making sure that those are the range, they will go back to the Moro market to apply their trade on the footwears. What happened? People chastise him and all that. But hey, years back, they realized that it's the best decision that was taken and it helped a lot. It's about enforcement. No matter what you do, when you begin, you are going to face that. But the moment people understand, then they get there. Whatever that I need, wherever that is it, people will come there. If you look at commodity to commodity, then we are able to have 8 places and where we address and making sure that the metropolitan and the district all buy in. These things will be things that could be easily addressed.
I remember last year, I think it was the 20th of June, 2020. You had gone through vetting. Elections were supposed to take place. And then for whatever reason, it was in the news that you have been disqualified.
Dave,
how sure are you that such a thing will not happen anymore?
Thank you, Dave. I remember there was this interview you granted. I was on my way. and there was a challenge, a banter between me and the current mayor. Dave, I usually use the word short change. somebody find it that me being on the ballot paper will be a problem for him. So he shortchanged at the 9th hour. With all the cross-check, when the thing happened, from the former chairman's office, from the chief of staff office, I was number 1 on the list to be on the ballot. But there was a short change with a sitting MP, precisely, with some people to gang up and make sure. You see, there was this force and this fight that I put in there. But to come look at it in a bigger picture, it was Frank pushing it. Later, I realized if we need to consider, you remember these things went to court and the people down there, then the who.
I even heard in some quarters that you wanted to go as an independent candidate. I don't know whether it was your intentions.
The grassroots and the people down there went to that extent to make sure that they are going to the easy to pick form. And make sure if I'm being denied, that will be the cause. But hey, I told them that is not me and that is not where I'll come from. At the end of the day, I was able to come down there with all these matters, get down there to the grassroots and make sure.
Do you foresee such a thing happening again?
Never again. And it will never.
How sure are you?
Why? Because it costs the party's fortune a lot. Look at it.
All right, so let me just...
These very things cost even our voter turnout.
So in 2016, for example, presidential elections, in 2016, the NPP had 48,660, which of course amounted to 78.3%. NDC in 2016 had 13,090 votes. That amounted to 21.1%. Then in 2020, you dipped. Now, 2020, the NPP had 41,238 votes, representing 72.5%, but there was a loss of 5.3%. Then in 2020, NDC rather went up, 15,610 votes, representing 27.5%, and they gained 8.5% increase in votes. Are you saying that what happened resulted in the increase that NDC had in the 2020 elections?
Exactly. Why?
Tell me.
Right after those incidents, the whole constituency, not only to talk of delegates, we are talking of the very constituency that we are in, the people who vote down there. Their issue is, we are not going to vote. So there was apathy down there. As I speak today, still, it's something that is a challenge. I had to even get a team, faithful patriots, finance them. Then we move from house to house, from community to community, to make sure that we do campaign, of which even the sitting MP could not step out to do a campaign. The sitting MP could not step out there to campaign on the very day of election. It surprises me recent times when I decide to step out. People are bringing out videos and all that. And I was like, hey. So when I was going up by doing these things, there were people doing all these videos. I was within a Safo area. Then I may come from house to house, kneeling down, making sure that people go to vote. And some of the responses, the very gentleman now, Muyi in the free. No, sorry to use that. The guy that you got him out of the race, we are not going to vote. Even an old man, I said, it's me, but I'm pleading. It's not about me as an individual. One, it's about our future.
So to you, it affected the party?
Yes.
Now, let's talk about, when it comes to campaigning, we know how much it costs to campaign. I mean, to even win a seat in Parliament, it costs 4 million and over. Now, I've seen billboards. And Joel, if you don't mind, show that billboard again for me on Facebook. It is really huge. And the idea and the thought for many Ghanaians is that when a politician wants power, he'll go do whatever it takes to get money for the campaign. And then when he wins elections, he finds ways and means of recouping or getting back his money. Looking at this billboard, I don't know how much it costs, but it tells me that you are prepared to spend so much just to win the seat.
Dave, from where I sit and you knowing me, what do you see is the doing of the Lord?
The billboard I'm saying.
I did not have any idea about this very billboard. I don't know anything. I did not know anything about it. I was even out of town for 2 days. And I was receiving these calls. Look at the kind of, hey, Frank, and all that. And I said, billboard.
This billboard, you didn't mount it. You didn't pay for it?
Not a penny or a peso.
How did that billboard get there? And Joe, please on Facebook, on Love 99.5 FM, listeners, if you haven't seen the billboard we're talking about, go check it out.
I've been in context. This is my third time. Yeah. And the very people and yourself will testify that I'm not the kind of person that I go by this. It's somebody who did this, and I only met the person Sunday after Akweside. The very Sunday when we were driving from regional office to Akweside, myself, when I saw it, I shouted. Why? Because that 2 days earlier I wasn't in town and a video was sent to me. But you look at it from the video, you didn't see it well. But if you are driving through yourself, Dave, the very people down there within the business community, somebody volunteered to do. He saw my flyer on one of my campaign officers, DP. Then he called out to find out, is it not the regional director of NADMO? Oh, that guy, he's very good. I had an experience with him. He's principal. If you could have a leader of such. And he said, oh, we need support though. Do you know, I'm going around and sourcing for funds from individuals to assist for this to be reality.
So a businessman funded this billboard, which is on Facebook right now, Love Night Up and
Dave,
5.
and you know, when it was sent to me on that Saturday afternoon, by the close of Saturday, one of the guys also pushed even 3 additional.
You
from
said you
different
saw it
points.
On Sunday. Now you're saying Saturday. You said
It's Sunday that I witnessed it with my eyes.
Okay.
They sent a video to me on Saturday when I was out of town. I was
but if a businessman could sponsor a billboard like this for you, what is the guarantee that if you should get the nod from the people of Subing, this businessman will not compromise you in any way, so that if anything of his comes to you as MP for the area, you're not compromised?
But Dave, you know the interesting thing, when I met the man on Sunday, he's somebody that he was undertaking a project. I went to stop. I was ready to even pull down. They went behind that they want to give me something. You know me from where I sit. Then I gave it to them. I pushed them off to go back to the table and do what is right. They went through the processes. They did something. And at the end of the day, when I met him Sunday, gentlemen, if I had spent even 100,000 on that project, when you came in, I spent less than 40,000. And your principle and where you stand, this is what I'm going. I told him I need money. I said, go, leave the rest to me. I'll get back to you.
You think he will not be able to compromise you?
Dave,
if you should get them not to represent Subing.
Dave, you know Frank Betha from your days way back up there. That
human beings change. You're saying that this businessman who is funding this, and I'm sure he would even do more for you. You're saying he's not going to compromise you?
Never and not at all.
Who's this businessman?
Never. Is at the Central Business District. We can talk behind. It's something that you can put on air, please. It's very important and necessary for security reasons.
What are people saying on our Facebook pages? What are people saying on our WhatsApp and console? Let's take a listen.
Okay, so this one says, Dave, I think the time has come for us to show some MPs in the Ashanti region the exit. Yes, Eugene is one of them. Just ask him the last time he engaged with his constituents. This man sat on radio and talked. I can't use the word. He was born from a rich family and he hasn't attended a public toilet before. He was looking down on people who attend public toilets. He doesn't respect and have vowed to exclude my vote for the votes he gets from Subing here. If he doesn't know he's been sent to serve me, I won't send him there to serve me again. This is coming from Kofi Owusu Ansaf in Asokwa. And there's also a voice note. Can I play it?
Hello, David. Good morning. My name is Paul. Well, I don't know whether the people of Subing will need a new face, but the way Mr. Eugene Boakye was so vocal about the removal of the finance minister, I think there will be orders from above, and whether the people of Subing like it or not, they will definitely get a new face. Thank you.
Those are thoughts of our listeners and our viewers as well. What are people also saying on Facebook? I'm sure Leo will be getting some comments and be reading them shortly. But let's activate the phone lines and pick a few calls. 03220-83596, 03220-83597, and 03220-83598. You can call us now. If there's any contribution you want to make, if there's any question you have for Frank Duodu, who's with us in the studios, I'm sure he's more than ready to respond to those questions for you. He's made his intentions known that he is going to contest for the Subing seat come the 27th of this very month. He wants to unseat Eugene Boakye. Now I'm asking this question: do you think the people of Subing need a new face, or Eugene Boashimshi, the incumbent MP, should still be the person to represent them. You've heard Frank tell you about his plans, his intentions. Well, MPs we know are lawmakers, but this time around the style has changed. If you have very good lobbying skills, if you're in the good books of the right persons or people, you can bring extra development to your constituency. You can call us now. Let's hear from you. But Leo on Facebook.
Okay, so this is coming from Bernard Obin. He says, is Duodu vying for MCE or MP? For the period that you've engaged him, he has not talked about helping to make good laws, which is the core mandate, but promising left and right center. Yeah. And somebody responded and said, it's unfortunate, but the mandate of an MP is often lost on people, even the MPs themselves. They do not even know their own mandate.
Yeah. And you remember we had a conversation with Stephen Amoha on this issue. All right, let's go on to the phone lines. Hi, good morning.
Hello.
Yes, boss. Good morning.
Good morning, Dave.
Sir.
I'm Ishak.
Ishak, welcome, Ishak. Let's hear you. Happy New Year.
Yeah, my regards to Duodu. The radio stations and after the program, this guy took me around, and in the car we spoke like we've met for over 3 years. And so his personal relations is what I think is doing the trick for him. It's been a long time that I've heard of him, but I just met him a day. And I think this guy is a leader. I think he's a leader. Maybe he has even forgotten about me. But since then, I've had his number on my phone. I think he's a very good person for the job. Duodu, I wish you well, my brother.
All right, so that's Ishak there wishing you well on the 27th. Hi, good morning.
Good morning, David.
Yes, Ken, welcome. Let's hear you.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much, sir.
Mr. Frank, right?
Please, Frank Duodu.
Okay. So I believe these ideas are the reason why he wants to become an MP. And they are great. These are great ideas. But my question is, if he get a chance, okay, and then unfortunate for him, he get a duplicate leader as the current one, who will not see his ideas as relevant, therefore will not support him. He should tell us, would he resign, or he will still be on board until the suffering Ghanaians vote him out? That's when he get a chance to become an MP, and all these great ideas that he said he will use to help these Subin people, he doesn't get the assistance from his leader. Will he resign or still be on board?
So, can you understand your question correctly? You are saying, for example, that if he should get a nod to become member of parliament for Subin constituency,
exactly,
he's trying to lobby for, let's say, some development, and let's say the president is not forthcoming or he's not able to achieve it, whether he will resign or not. Is that what you're asking?
That is what I'm asking.
All right, so over to you then.
You see, leadership deals with management and an approach. I believe, depending on what is being put or the document before Parliament in an area of what the year you would want to undertake an activity, you should be able to know how very well you could get something and bring to your people. Talking of the lobbying area, talking of how very well you could also lace that, but you could also look at it from a different point of view. You see, Subin constituency, we are privileged. There are a lot of things that we could do, which with little effort from outside, it can be reality. With the profile of the constituency and considering all the things that could be done, putting it out there or sources from different angle or getting people in to get the nod from an angle of the leadership will be something could be easily done.
What if the leader is not forthcoming? I remember, on one of the local stations in Kumasi when the president was there, it was put a question was put before him that some people wanted their roads done, and therefore if it's not done, they will not vote for him and all. He said, listen, you can decide to vote for the opposing party. I don't really care. That's if you are lobbying and it's not working, what do you do? Let's go on to the phone lines though. Hi, good morning.
Good morning, David.
Yes, boss. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. I think the aspirant is saying what he can do, okay? But when the nod is given to him,
we see different things happening. Even though he has his right, but I would have wished that the current MP maintain. Because you see, someone who can stand up against the president and say, Charlie, we don't want this minister. These are the kind of leaders we need. You see, I pray he wins, but the issue is Ashanti regional MPs, they will go to Accra, all the MPs will corrupt them, and I'm telling you, Kumasi, the time you see them coming to Kumasi will be the time they will need vote from the people. And that is sad. I mean, that is my only issue. They would talk. At the end of the day, you wouldn't see much happening. That's my issue, David. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for calling. And he says, Charlemagne time, talk, no action. Hi, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, David. My name is
David.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Let's hear you, sir.
Yeah. I think Mr. Frank is a very fine gentleman. And then what he's trying to do is a noble idea. But I want to ask him this question. Does he really see anything wrong with the current MP, and then his stance on when this current MP was pushing for the finance minister to resign and all that? What is his stand on that? Has he even actually criticized anything about the MPP, like this is wrong, that he wants to like put his resources together to make sure that we have a better representative? That's my question.
Hear you, sir. What's your name, sir? Already gone. But a response to the question. Should we pick a call? Then we'll come to the question. Hi, good morning. Morning.
Good morning, David.
Yes, sir. Welcome, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well, Slash. Good to have you.
Thanks. Happy New Year.
Same to you, my brother.
David, you know, the MP, you didn't watch MP. David,